Live Healthy is brought to you by Kirk Supermarket and Pharmacy.
On Live Healthy this morning, we're going to focus on how to choose the right yogurt. And if you're ever intimidated by the amount of options we have, especially here at Kirk Supermarket, you're going to want to have the help of nutritionist Andrea Hill. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Janelle.
All right. Let's start by talking about the calories in yogurt. What's the sort of range you want to stick in when it comes to one serving?
Well, you know, let's start with something basic like this. This is definitely your standard serving nowadays is a 6-ounce container.
Okay.
And the great thing is your nutrition facts are all going to be based on those 6 ounces, so you don't have to think about multiplying anything. What you see is what you get. So when you start with the calories on a yogurt, you want to make sure that it's no more than 180 calories. Now for those people out there that are trying to lose weight and are on lower calorie diets, you want this amount to be no higher than 120. Okay? So that's the general idea, but then we want the breakdown. Total fat. Now if you think about it, any kind of yogurt that we use is made from milk. And we have all levels of fat in milk. We have whole milk, 2%, 1%, and skim. So when you look at a particular yogurt and it says it's low fat, this is likely going to be made from either a 1% or a 2% milk, right? So what you want to make sure, going back to that label again, is that the total fat is no higher than 4 grams.
All right.
So for most of us out there, we want to choose those sort of lower fat or the non-fat varieties to keep those calories and the total fat in check.
All right. And we do have a lot of options actually and a lot of flavors. And when it comes to the flavors, you know, we're thinking some of them are naturally flavored, naturally sweetened, that type of thing. What do we want to keep in mind in terms of the sugar or the sweetener?
Right. So when you're looking at any of these here, like these ones are all low fats. These ones down here would be more your lights made with fat-free milk, right? But when you're looking at, again, I'll pull, you know, a fat-free one. This one has a blend of sugar as well as an artificial sweetener. And what you want to make sure is that the total sugar is no higher than 30 grams. Now, bearing in mind that natural milk sugar will contribute about 12 grams in the total carbohydrates here. So 30 grams sounds high to look for in a total yogurt, but almost half of that is really just coming natural from the milk sugar itself.
All right,
okay?
So there's good sweet and bad sweet.
There is. And you know what, this is actually a personal preference, Janelle. For somebody who, you know, maybe might be a diabetic, they're watching their blood sugar, they might be more drawn to the artificially sweetened stuff. You know, there are folks out there that are just looking for just plain old sugar. They want something natural, that's fine. You want to try to avoid as much as possible those ones that have blends of you know, high fructose corn syrup and all of these other sweeteners that really are not good for us, and they take a lot for our bodies to digest and process them. And of course the optimal is going for something that is unflavored. Go for a plain one and then sweeten it with something that that you like, maybe a pure maple syrup, maybe you're going to use a stevia leaf, or maybe you're just going to add fresh or frozen fruit. Right,
and you can add those to things like your breakfast, your cereals, etc. And on the flip side, when we talk about fiber, we do see on some yogurts it mentions that it has fiber added to that. What does that mean? Is that something we should be looking for?
Well, you know what? You don't need to get fiber in your yogurt. That's where our fruits, our vegetables, our whole grains come from. This is the most important part here. Now, fiber in a yogurt, I say, you know what, you still need to make sure that you're eating a good wholesome diet. So that's not going to excuse you out of that. It might keep you full a little longer because that's what that fiber is doing. Fiber provides that bulk in the stomach, and that's what something like that might do for us.
All right, but definitely need to get the fiber elsewhere in your diet.
Absolutely. Now, one important element of yogurt is the staying power of it. And if you're choosing something that's really low in fat, you want protein to be your sustaining power. That's where I love the Greek yogurt.
Okay, let's head over there to the Greek yogurt section.
Right, so if we go to a Greek yogurt, for example. Now, Greek yogurt, the reason why it is as great as it is because, I'll just pull a plain low-fat one here. You're going to see that the protein here is almost 3 times what you would be getting out of another brand. So a lot of the yogurts we were talking about previously, you're going to see them no higher than about 5 grams of protein, where this one is 17. So a Greek yogurt's going to give you anywhere from 13 to 18 grams of protein. A lot more staying power.
All right. But it also comes along sometimes with a higher price.
It does. And
For a good reason.
Actually, yes. And good to bring stuff like that up. The way Greek yogurt is processed is we're actually straining out the liquid whey, and because we're concentrating that amount, we have to actually add 3 times more milk to produce this product. Therefore, you get a higher price tag, but it's worth it. It's one of the better ones out there.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Andrea, for joining us once again on Live Healthy, giving us the details as to how to choose the great yogurt or the perfect yogurt for your diet. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Janelle.
All right, Daybreak will be right back with more. Please stay with us.
Live Healthy is brought to you by Kirk Supermarket and Pharmacy.